Hi, my name's Graham Thompson, and this is Peter Tatchell on GB News a few days ago.
I'll give you an example. Not long ago, a street preacher, Pastor Alan Sherwood in West London, was arrested by the police for criticising homosexuality. Obviously, I totally disagree with him, but I thought it was outrageous that he should be arrested for expressing a view in a calm, non-threatening, non-inflammatory way. And I've actually said I am prepared to go to court to testify in his defense because
Wow.
as much as I disagree with him, he has a right to his free speech.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think that's a very brave position to take. Now,
And this is what Mr. Tatchell really thinks of the right of Christians to freedom of speech on homosexuality.
We were not afraid to take on our oppressors, including the Church and the then Archbishop of Canterbury, Dr. Carey.
Supports discrimination against lesbian and gay people. He opposes lesbian and gay human rights. This is not
Highlights
Christian
include
teaching.
the kissing, outing the bishops, the disruption of police entrapment operations, and our condom protest at Westminster's Catholic Cathedral.
If you celebrate disrupting church services because Christians disagree with your opinion on homosexuality, you do not believe in freedom of speech for Christians on homosexuality. Why the obvious lie from Mr. Tatchell? To give himself a mask of virtue, so when he says things like this,
the aim of these lessons is pure. It's to look after the sexual, emotional, and mental health of young people. We want to cut the level of teenage pregnancies and abortions, reduce the levels of sexual infections, stop abusive relationships. That's what these lessons are all about.
people believe him. The evidence that Mr. Tatchell is an abject charlatan on free speech is strong. The evidence that Mr. Tatchell is a paedophile enabler is absolutely overwhelming. I'm going to link to that evidence at the end of this video and in the description below. But here's a bit of that evidence. This is Mr. Peter Tatchell to a Swiss schoolboy in 2015 on a letter he sent to The Guardian in 1997.
So I made it quite clear that I was not condoning sex with children in any way. I made it quite clear that I was not condoning sex with children in any way.
And this is Mr. Tatchell's letter to The Guardian in 1997. It is time society acknowledged the truth that not all sex involving children is unwanted, abusive, and harmful. That's a funny way of not condoning sex with children in any way. There comes a time when some people, myself included, become rather tired at the British media for canonising a patent paedophile enabler like Mr. Peter Tatchell. My proposal to GB News, if it wishes to live up to what Mr. Andrew Neil said, that it will always remember what the B in its title stands for, rather than slipping in a silent L and T to make it represent what Mr. Tatchell stands for. My proposal is a debate between Mr. Tatchell and myself on whether or not we should bring back Clause 28. For those who do not know what Clause 28 is, Clause 28 became Section 28 of the Local Government Act 1988. And what Section 28 did was, it stopped grown men having access to little boys in schools to force them to accept getting buggered is normal. What we now have, of course, thanks very much to the efforts of people like Mr. Tatchell, is that in 2019, Parliament overwhelmingly voted to make LGBT education compulsory in schools for children as young as 5 and under. In my opinion, Parliament got it right in 1988, and in 2019 it got it as wrong as a world gone wrong can possibly be. So how about it, GB News? I do appreciate that you would be somewhat slumming it, having a punter like me on up against a consummate pundit like Mr. Tatchell. Whatever anyone wants to say about Mr. Tatchell, he undoubtedly is a top-of-the-range pundit, a top-of-the-range in punditry. But nevertheless, that is my proposal. A debate between Mr. Peter Tatchell and myself on whether we should bring back Clause 28 with an empty seat for Mr. Tatchell if he doesn't show up. Or would you rather continue to canonise a patent paedophile enabler?